Okay, we advertise such where we can proceed, and when the kids get here, we'll stop and do our presentation for the kids. So we're back on open at 6.
Jane, I have their, I brought their posters too, okay? Because that way they can have it back.
Okay. Non-agenda items. We will have one, which would be the accepting the retirement of Sergeant Stephen Caputo. That's the only non-agenda item. So I need a motion for early public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone wishing to speak to agenda items, please come on up. How are you, Linda?
Okay, in there.
Good. What happened?
I'm falling apart, but there we go.
Did you fall?
No, it's a torn rotator cuff. I did that a number of years ago, and I went for shots and stuff, but couldn't do it anymore.
Man, falling apart is right.
I was curious about with the blizzard.
Yeah? It was just on the agenda?
Yeah.
Just discussion, talk about how well our guys did and some issues that came up. I was going to talk about the overtime, which was about total costs for the storm was about $23,000. That's all. It's on the agenda for discussion. Did you have something about it?
No, just wanted to find out.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks. Anyone else? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Reports. Jane, do you have anything? Any council member?
I was at the last Board of Education meeting last Tuesday, and they had mentioned how active our police department has been in their security drills, you know, whatever they call active shooter drills and stuff like that. Yeah. And not only are they there to observe, but they've been actively suggesting ways to change it so that it's not always the same thing over and over again, so that they're actually having to react to different circumstances. So,
How are you guys?
So I just thought you know, you can tell the chief, you know, how
I will do that.
Yep, how their interaction has been appreciated by the Board of Education.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Jane? Board of Health? Yeah, okay. Anyone else have anything? Just a couple items I have. The Board of Health voted last night to renew the contract with Pequannock. We, as you know, received another proposal from the county, and the Board of Health did do an in-depth job and interviews and additional interviews and whatnot. Though I am going, excuse me?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to have a meeting with Peter Coriel to talk about it, particularly, you know, now that there's competition at a slightly reduced rate, can they meet us halfway and see if we can do anything there? But the good news is it's a 3-year contract versus a 15-year contract, and it's a 3-month opt-out, although state statute may not allow that. It may have to be 6-month opt-out. So that was renewed. The other bit of good news was, the sale of our sewer capacity, we got the numbers in as far as the debt reduction for 2016. Never mind the revenue received from the sale, the fact that we have less capacity on the books, our debt service is reduced $216,000 annually. So, and that's every times forever. And so, as you remember, the concern was whether Riverdale still had enough. So we entered an agreement that said, well, if they don't, they can still tap into ours and pay the debt service. And so if they were to exceed, you know, it'll be additional offset for us. So whether they will or they won't, we'll know at the end of the year. That's huge.
Going back to the Board of Health, the meeting also has to be with the Township of Pequannock, because Peter made that very clear in the last meeting that I attended.
What meeting?
The last board...
No, what meeting would have to be with the township?
He said that he can't do anything as far as...
No, I know. I'm going to meet with him first, and then I'll have to go to the business administrator there.
He did that. Make that.
I don't know if he can, because they approved it already, so I don't even know if I have the ability to do that. I can ask.
Do we have any say in it?
No, it's an autonomous board. I did have the attorney review that, because if you notice in the newspaper, West Milford just stopped using Bloomfield, gave notice, 6-month notice, to stop using Bloomfield. And the council voted on it. So I called Fred. I said, what's that all about? He says, well, their Board of Health is advisory only, not,
But I thought it still comes before the council, John.
no, they can do ordinances, contracts, they can do everything.
I thought it still has to come, I thought Peter mentioned that in the meeting.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't have to come to
The
us.
only thing
But what, let
how
me,
they ran their meeting, I don't know how you could discuss keeping somebody with them sitting
no,
there.
they didn't. They had multiple executive sessions without him there. They did. And Jane actually sat in on one of them to help.
But he was
Two
kind
of
of bullish?
No, no, actually, I must say, it was an eye-opener for all parties involved, including our current vendor. Seeing some dissatisfaction things, and I think we're already seeing an improvement to some particularly public outreach kind of things. So,
What they did was they met with the two vendors totally separately, and then did multiple executive sessions.
under negotiations.
Yes.
But to your question,
It did a good job.
to your question, so when I called Fred about West Milford, I said, well, why are we all assuming ours is the same way? So I had Jane pull back to 1960s, the establishment of our Board of Health, and it doesn't say anywhere that they're autonomous. But at the same time, it references tons of state statute that Fred's reviewing that may give the language of being autonomous. And if not, and we were misrepresented on that fact of autonomous or advisory, then that's something we can deal with separately.
Yes, I think we should, because I was in one of those meetings, and it was mentioned that it would be coming back here.
No. But again, to date, what I've been advised is that they're autonomous. Our code does say they can enter into contracts, ordinances, rules,
This
regs,
is a
and all.
done deal, as of now.
Correct. Yep. And again, I
I had a conversation with somebody last night, and it just didn't sound,
it was voted on last night.
yeah, I know.
You do?
It was after the meeting, I talked to somebody that was there, and they just said, I'm trying to be kind. He was kind of left the meeting in a huff, threatened $40,000 a year, taking secretarial work, and I don't know how true that is, or...
Well, no, those are all passive. I mean, our total cost for Board of Health has reduced over the years because we used to have an office on Main Street, a full-time secretary. Pete Coriel, the head of it, has taken over the secretary responsibility. That's what he's saying about saving the borough money by doing that function. And that's all true. That's all true. But I think it was an eye-opener for our Board of Health, who are volunteers, who really never had, I think many didn't really know their function, and I think everyone's learned a lot through this process, what their role is and how important their role is. And I think it's only going to help us, as far as implementing more programs. As far as testing the market, now we know we can, and that's something we'll continue to visit. I also am exploring the issue of autonomy or not, whether we have that right or not. So.
Well, I think it's also going to be very important, in my opinion, that the mayor stay on top of the Board of Health, because what I don't want to see is us back to where we were again.
Those are the rules I need to understand. If they're autonomous...
No, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they become complacent with how things were, and there can no longer be complacency. There has to be...
Agreed.
Where the board, when they are dissatisfied or they do have questions, it has to be brought to, Pequannock.
And to your point, that's what I stated earlier. It was an eye-opener for everyone, including myself. And I think more so for the Board of Health, who really didn't know their role. They were kind of sitting at meetings, listening to our vendor. And now, through this whole process, they've learned, wow, what we should be doing. And are we getting all the services? Is there more? And I think you'll agree with me that since this whole started, there's been more responsiveness and more, I know there's a lot more communication on my part from that entity.
There's some things that we can discuss after that.
But again, but that's all, you have a Board of Health, so we've got to make sure they stay on top of it and demand all the services possible and the best service we can get. But there's still a lot of things I want to review on the issue. Okay, I just wanted to bring up to speed on
Now,
those
John,
two issues.
From the legal issue, do you have to sign the ordinances?
No.
No?
they're-
Okay, I'm
our
just wondering
code
what follows.
allowed- The fact that
Well, no,
our
I wasn't-
code, that's why I think they are autonomous, and Fred's going to find out.
Okay, well, I
that
just
they
want to
are.
make sure we don't miss a step, that's
Because
all.
our code does allow them to enter into contracts and
Okay.
do all that. So our
Well, I
code
wasn't sure if
would
they still had to come to you for signing, just like ours do or not.
like as opposed to the, Environmental Commission or any of those, they're advisory.
You see what I mean, Kane?
But again, I'm still going to explore
No,
that.
I
But
just wanna
wanna
make
bring
sure
up to you
we're
for now,
doing
it was
it
voted on to
legally.
continue. So those
Okay.
are my two issues there. Just to inform the public who's here, we had an early executive session at 6 p.m., advertised for 6, so we finished early, started our item. So at 7, we'll do our presentation to our young artists, and then we have to wait till 7 for a couple ordinances. So we're just going to run through our agenda just to get some of the items completed. The next is I need a motion, approval of consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and under pending business, there are 2 ordinances that I have to hold because they're advertised for 7 p.m. or after. So we'll go to 11C, discussion update in regards to FEMA flood remapping. Well, we're getting there. Flood remapping. We started out with 86 homes in the Oakwood Lake area. We are now, hi Tracy, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. You're fine, we started early. Okay. Yeah. For the record, Tracy Schnur, our borough attorney. Oh, we have your new name tag, but it's not there.
It's not there, though.
So flood mapping, Oakwood Lake. What's delayed it a bit was after we did the mapping submitted to FEMA, they realized even further upstream, most of Glenwald Lake was erroneously mapped as well. So rather than do a piecemeal, they figured let's map the whole area. So we are now a total of 302 properties that are affected. 86 are completely coming out of the flood zone. So these people who are paying $3 to $5 grand on flood insurance will no longer have to. 216 will be greatly reduced, and those are mostly Glenwald Lake area because elevations are amended and corrected. So those people are in a flood zone, but if they get an elevation certificate, their rates will drop to, a couple $100 compared to thousands of dollars. So we will probably call a special meeting in the next 4 weeks to invite everyone in so our engineer, Nick Agnoli, can present to the public to bring them up to speed. All everyone cares about is when am I getting a letter that says I'm out? And I get calls, every day, especially when people get their renewals. So I don't like putting time frames on it. I would hope by April we're done on that issue, and everyone automatically gets letters from FEMA stating they're out, and automatically the maps are redone, and their mortgage companies can check and see they're no longer in it to allow them to cancel their flood insurance if they're in midterm of a policy. So it's great news. And when Nick comes, we'll have all the savings. It's $500,000 in premium saved and all that information. But it was $30,000 well invested. If you read the newspaper, saw on the news last week, Patterson, something similar happened, but that's because FEMA did the remapping. And remember, we were told by FEMA they were not mapping our area, so we were on our own. So in Patterson, FEMA did the mapping because of Passaic River, and they found, but they're not going to get relief until 2017. That's FEMA doing it themselves. So we're in a good place. Same with the community rating system, which is not taking people out. It is a discount program that people who are absolutely in a floodplain like the flats can just get a 15 to 25% discount. So hopefully by October that'll be concluded.
Well, John?
Yes.
Since we're talking about things that take a while, is there any update on Sloan Park?
Sloan Park, everything's in DEP's hands. The objector still had the right to review the final submission.
You know when that
Time frames I
expires?
hate putting on it because this is a 5-year deal. But I am very confident that within 60 days we'll have the permit.
Okay.
Our engineer knows I want to bid this out by May, June for summer build-out. At the mercy of the DEP.
I know.
As we were at the mercy of FEMA. Item D, we talked about the establishment of a committee for the borough's 100th anniversary, which is not till 2018, but it's something we should start thinking about. So I would like a motion to refer the topic to government ops, and then internally we can form a committee and get working on that. So does anyone make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? So GovOps is John,
Mike and Ray.
John, Mike, and Ray. So again, I'm more than happy to help. I think we reach out to Recreation, to Little League, to football, just get a committee going so we can have, by the end of this year, a full outline of what we want to do. Okay? So all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We've still got a few minutes. We'll keep going. New business. 12A, Adoption Resolution 2016 2.1. Uncashed refunds from the municipal court. This is to cancel them out. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Want a roll call? Yeah. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Del Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Thank you. Item B, Resolution 2016 2.2, ratifying the white-collar contract. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. We are tonight ratifying the white-collar contract. And just briefs, it was very similar to the prior contract that was renewing, which we did a couple years ago. That was a
3 years
late
ago,
one we
yeah.
inherited, right?
Wow.
So it's a 4-year contract with compensation of 1.5% year 1, 1.5% year 2, 1 3/4 year 3, and 1 3/4 year 4. We had removed in the previous contract and keep it the same. There's no more steps for longevity for new employees, and we reduced starting salaries for new hires. Full-time goes back to 2010 salary chart, and part-time is 2009 salary chart, and if there's a conversion of part-time to full-time existing employee, it's 2011 salary chart. So I thank the committee of John, Rich, and Tracy for doing an outstanding job, and I thank the union for working with us as well. So can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmembers D'Amato.
Yes.
Del Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Item C, introduction of ordinance number
3-2016.
3/2016, amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 5, Departments Established, and Chapter 17, Water. What we're doing here is we are merging the Department of Public Works and the Sewer and Water Department into one department, the Public Works. So Sewer and Water becomes a division of DPW, just like roads and sanitation and so on. So by doing this, this will, in essence, are we repealing the old sewer, Tracy? The ordinance?
No, we're just.
Amending the DPW to combine the two departments. And it assigns the responsibilities of the superintendent and assistant superintendent, and how they now both oversee each department versus being separated. And it's going to provide a good amount of efficiency and hopefully ultimately the cost savings for the borough. So first I need a motion to introduce by title. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Del Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
And that will be February 16th at 7 p.m.
Yes, thank you.
And that will be an ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale in the County of Passaic and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 5, Departments Established, and Chapter 17 Water, Section 17-2, General Regulations of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Thank you, Jane. And again, in layman's terms, it's merging DPW and sewer and water. With that said, we will take a break from the agenda, and I'll come off the dais and ask Councilwoman Hudson to join me. We have a special presentation this evening. Actually, all council members will join us. Should we wait? Is everyone here? I don't want to start too early if we're missing some of our participants. 1, 2, what do we have, 3 people here? Right? Who's here for the certificate? Mr. Schlago? 2, 3? 3 people? Should we wait a little bit?
Sure.
1,
That's even better.
2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Who did you hear? You only heard from 1 or 2 that weren't coming. Okay, you know what, let's just wait 5 minutes, if everyone's okay with that, because I'd hate to go and then have people come in. So wait 5 minutes. So with that said, we'll continue with 12D. I need a motion for Resolution 2016 2.3, authorizing shared service agreement with West Milford for animal control officer as an as-needed basis. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Again, this is as needed. They often need coverage, and when they call us for coverage, we wanted to define the terms, which are in the contract. interlocal agreement that we are proposing, and it's good for both parties, and we're glad to offer our services. So can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmembers Hudson,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
And again, I was looking for it as I was speaking. That's a $90 per hour rate, daytime coverage, 8 to 4, $120 hour rate, 4 p.m. to 8 a.m., and then the fees for disposals and all the other ones that apply, or you can see in the contract. Next item, I need an introduction of ordinance 4, 2016. This is to amend our fee ordinance. First, let me get a motion to introduce by title.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion, again, every year, well, not every year, but whenever we change a fee for anything, we need to amend our ordinance. So this year, we, as discussed at the last meeting, are going to establish a fee schedule for the usage of our recreation fields for travel sports that are not Triborough or one of our youth organizations related. So this does not apply to the football, cheerleading, Triborough Little League, or B&B United Soccer. This is for travel programs that don't necessarily have Bloomingdale residents that often ask for field usage. And there's not going to be a lot of space with our own sports, but there's a fee structure now that we can charge, which we discussed. It was in the newspaper. It's $700 if there's 5 players or less from Triborough area, meaning Kinnelon, Butler, Bloomingdale. $500 for a team with 6 to 9 players, and there's no charge if it's 10 or more Triborough, Bloomingdale, Butler residents. And then animal control fees, quarantine fees increased to $25 per day. Reclaim fees, adoption fees, there's a range from $50 to $250. It's reduced to $25 to $250. Construction office, we're amending a smoke control system. We need to add the smoke control system fee of $85 per system. And then the clerk's office, the minimal changes to when people purchase our zoning maps, which is exactly what we pay for it. Color maps, $8, and a small version is 50 cents. So minor changes. So, you want a roll call? We had a motion and a second on that. John and Rich, and then that was discussion. Do you want a roll call?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
2:16, 7 p.m.
That would be an ordinance amending chapter 5-14. That's it. Fee schedule.
Fee schedule. Okay, thank you. Item F, introduced by title, Ordinance 5, 2016, zoning ordinance amending Section 9255 to allow conditional use of dwelling units above retail and office. That's fine. First, let me get a motion introduced by title.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I had met with the Ordinance Review Committee last week, and what we're doing is under the business zone, the B1 zone. Currently, it's not allowed to have any residential above office or retail. So this is going to add it as a conditional use, which means the site plan always will have to go to the planning board so they could deal with issues of if it's appropriate, parking, and all the good things that come with it. So I think it'll help see some growth with commercial on the first floor and housing upstairs. So that's what we're doing here. So I need a roll call, please.
I just have a question about the
Yeah.
second and final, because there's a notice to the fact.
Yeah, second and final, because there's 35-day notice, due March 15th, 7 p.m. Yep. Roll call.
Councilmembers Costa,
Yes.
Tomato,
Yes.
Delariva,
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
And that's an ordinance amending 9255, conditional use of dwellings over retail and office. Again, March 15, 7 p.m. Okay, we will stop there and come back and resume at G. I think we have most of our participants here. I'd ask the council if you guys would join me off the dais. So how's everyone on this spring day today? Good. So we have all our Bloomingdale's finest artists with us this evening, and welcome everybody. And we have certificates for those who participated. And I want to start out by thanking Councilwoman Hudson, who came up with this idea, and hopefully it'll become a tradition now, maybe going forward in similar programs as well. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Dawn to talk about it, and talk about anyone who's in the room that helped you with it. And so the floor is yours, Councilwoman.
Thank you. This idea kind of just branched out as I was talking to some students about doing a poster contest about what they felt that they loved about Bloomingdale and what was beautiful about Bloomingdale. I really want to thank JoJo Catalano. She really helped implement this. She was the one that came up with the guidelines that everyone had to follow, and she really, took the horn and off she went to the schools and got out the paper to everybody, and it was fantastic. So a big thank you to her. I appreciate all your help, and her mom too, Mary, for her help in this. JoJo will be earning some hours from the town doing volunteer work, which is fantastic. We had 8 entries with 1 winner and 1 runner-up.
Okay. Good.
You have.
I was one of the judges, and it was really hard.
It really was. It was very hard.
And they were all really, really cool. It was great looking at them, and I was able to identify what you guys are drawing and showing as far as what represents the town from Sloan Park. Bow Pond was in a lot of them. The theme of our wilderness was in all of them. And,
the lakes.
Morris Lakes where I live, so I was kind of partial to that one. But, no, that one didn't win. But they're all wonderful. So you're here tonight so we can tell you guys what great artists you are and how proud we are of you for participating and showing what you love about your hometown. And keep up the good work. And hopefully we'll see you at cleanup day.
And encourage your classmates next year to do this, because we're going to be doing this now every 5th grade. We'll do the poster contest. So I'm hoping that each one of you will speak to your classmates that'll be coming up into 5th grade and tell them what a great thing it is, so we can get more and more participants every year.
Great. And everyone's going to receive a certificate of achievement. And everyone, we have our first place, our runner-up, and then a one for participation. So everyone will receive them. So I'll read the body of it so everyone knows. A certificate of achievement presented to, again, we'll announce your name, in proud recognition, in this case, of your first place award received in the first annual 2015 Borough Bloomingdale Poster Contest. We commend you on representing your community and the Walter T. Bergen School with your talent and creativity, proudly presented by the governing body of Borough Bloomingdale the 2nd day of February 2016 with our gold seal and my signature. And our first is to our first place award recipient, Andrew Schlegel. Come on up, Andrew. Congratulations to you. That's for you. And I know most of you, I see a lot of familiar faces, probably have a Borough pin because I give them that all the time. But wait, this is a new one. It looks the same, but
Yeah. And this is
congratulations.
Andrew's poster. Came out fantastic. So I'm going to give this back to you and congratulations, because I know you'd like to keep that.
Stay up here.
Stay up there.
Stay right there. We'll get everybody up together. Okay, the floor is yours.
Isabella Tompkins?
And Isabella is our
runner-up.
runner-up. Congratulations to you. Isabella, pin for you, your certificate. You can stay up here if you would.
And Isabella's poster. Congratulations. Well done. There you go.
Okay, and Emily Keegan?
Okay. We will find Emily. Anna Beveridge. Okay, Anna, congratulations. Good job. Good. Congratulations. Stay here.
Oh, and Hannah, you look like you just came from basketball. Yeah. I know, because you're on my daughter's team.
Did you win?
We're winning so far.
You gotta get back. How much time left?
20 minutes.
Tough to get back. All right, we'll go back. Catherine Gallagher. Hey, Catherine, congratulations. For you? Congratulations.
And Katie's. And congratulations, Katie. Well, I'll shake your hand first. There you go. Well done.
Lauren Spencer. We'll hold that one. Nicole Woolley. Congratulations.
And Nicole's poster. Well done. Congratulations. There you go.
Last one I have is Shannon Brady.
I don't think she's here.
Another basketball player?
She's got basketball too.
Well, again, we congratulate all of you. Thank you for coming tonight, and look for more contests like this. And parents, this obviously was for the banner of our Facebook page. So if you're not on Facebook, sign up for the Borough Facebook page because just a ton of good community information gets out through that venue. Everything from recreation sign-ups to very important things about blizzards and water main breaks and whatever you need to know about the borough. So sign up for Facebook if you're not. And also, sign up for the Swift Reach, Reverse 911. I hope everyone in this room signed up for that. Put your cell phones, your work phone, your home phone, because we use that a lot for the police messages, very important messages. Okay? You can put your kids' cell phones on there. Nothing to do with the school. You can close the school stuff, but
Only town.
important borough messages. So, again, guys, we're very proud of you, and thanks for being here. And we got one more round of applause for all our winners. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
And Joe, actually, I'm going to give them to JoJo now.
Okay, great.
I'll leave her in charge. Here you go. Yes, if you don't mind. Absolutely. And they're the posters and the pins for everybody. And thank you. I'll take care. Thanks, Mary. No problem.
And how, first year in Walter T, right, for you guys? How is it?
Great.
Good. Big transition from middle school. Guys, have a great winter.
Congratulations.
Okay? Look forward to the spring.
Thank you.
Congrats. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Let everyone gather and do their thing. Thanks, guys. At 7:21.
Let me know, Debbie. Please.
Okay, we're going to finish up the new business and then go back to our pending business that we didn't do. But the remaining items are item G, which I went over in my report, which was a discussion in regards to sewer authority debt service reduction. As I stated, I'll state it again. Not only did we put $1,045,000 in our utility surplus by the sale of 45,000 gallons per day to Riverdale. Now that we have less capacity, we pay less debt on that capacity. Our reduction will be $216,000 annually going forward each year. So you can see the benefit of not having so much capacity, and thus our rates being high. We have such capacity that so few of our users on the system pay that in their rate. And the way to get the rate stabilized, ideally down, is to add more users or sell your capacity. And that's what we're doing. And we have willing buyers. So that's going to help to at least stabilize the rate. We were looking at a potential rate increase based on audit calculations, but with the increase added surplus and this rate reduction, plus our leak study saving us close to $200,000 a year in found water, plus eventually converting at a 20% reduction in rate when we go to Butler, which is part of the whole Sloan Park thing, we should be able to be in good shape in the utility for a number of years without having to consider a rate increase and hopefully a rate reduction. So, and then I had the blizzard on the agenda just to talk about it, and our DPW and our police department did a fine job. I received many compliments for the work they've done. They worked many hours straight through. Minor bumps in the road, but for the most part, it was all positive, and equipment survived. We didn't have too much problem there. The overtime, the total cost of payroll and overtime is about $23,000 for the storm, and we hope we see no more. And the groundhog, what today said spring, so I don't believe that, but we'll see. But that was, just kudos to our DPW for the work they do. and we thank them.
Just one thing under the blizzard.
Yeah.
Is the fire department went out the next day to shovel hydrants.
Yep.
And there was a tremendous amount of hydrants that the residents took care of,
Wonderful.
which was really, really great and appreciative by the fire department or by the chief Mark Lime. But it was amazing how many people
Good.
actually cleared it properly. And then you had the usuals that buried them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there was a lot done.
We thank those residents and the fire department. I know Dawn had put out a Facebook,
Many,
a lot of
Many
communications about the rules of the storm, so
yes.
and that all helps.
And
for
the
sure.
chief said that they spent the least amount of time in any storm clearing hydrants after than they ever have.
Right. And we didn't have too much of an issue with unclear sidewalks. You get them. And our guys, police enforced that, and they were out on, mostly it was the vacant homes. And actually, being that we have that vacant home registry, we have people to contact, most were done. I don't think we had too much of an issue with that either.
It was really tremendous. The guys were out doing the hydrant that was completely buried. Resident came out, grabbed a shovel, and just started digging with them. So it was like really,
It's great.
it was great.
The way it should be. Thank you so much for that. And just that we remember early on I stated we had one non-agenda item, and that I need a motion to accept the retirement of Sergeant Steve Caputo effective April 1st. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Any further discussion, other than, how do you, in such short time, thank an officer who's been here as many years and served as one in our detective bureau for many, many years, and did an outstanding job as a detective and an officer overall. I'd like to invite him in, another day with a presentation, but a lot of times these officers don't take you up on that. They, retire and don't look for any fanfare. But we thank Steve for his service to the borough. And I need a roll call, please.
Councilmembers D'Amato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going back to pending items. Item 11A. And the first item is second and final reading on public hearing ordinance 1, 2016, amending Chapter 4, general licensing. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. Copies available to the public, and a motion may be made that it be read by title.
And who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That would be an ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 4, General Licensing, Section 4-1, General Regulations, Section 4-1.2, Municipal Clerk Authority and Record Keeping of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
One heck of a title. Very simply, what this is, every year we put on the agenda when it arises to waive the fee for a raffle permit for nonprofits. So this ordinance is modifying that they are exempt. So we don't have to deal with that housekeeping item every time Little League or PTA or somebody pulls a permit fee. For the record, double teaming. Dorsey Samrau, Fred's with us. Good thing we have you on a flat rate, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Must be double time.
Right. So again, I need a motion at open public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 1, 2016? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
And now who moves to adopt?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Item B, second and final reading, public hearings 2, 2016, providing legal counsel and indemnification for officials, employees, and appointees of the Borough of Bloomingdale. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. Copies available to the public, so a motion may be made that it be read by
And
title.
who makes that motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, it's an ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, in the County of Passaic, and State of New Jersey, authorizing the Borough of Bloomingdale to provide legal counsel and indemnification for officials, employees, and appointees of the Borough of Bloomingdale in certain actions brought against said officials, employees, and appointees.
Okay, and I need a motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And anyone wishing to speak? And just come on up, and before, as you're coming up, I just want to state the purpose of this. What this is intended to do is what most municipalities do all the time. If a former council person or someone, employee, was ever, needed legal counsel for actions while they served as an employee or a council person, this ordinance indemnifies it. And actually, we were at a seminar put on by Fred at the League of Municipalities, who really preached on making sure you have this on the books. And you just want to be safe, because you don't want, especially in the political world, if a former council person was brought up on something and they have a different party and it was ugly and they said, well, we're not going to help that person. You can't do that. This ordinance protects that from ever happening, and everyone's protected equally, because now we have an ordinance to do so. Pretty much what it is. Yes, and just name and address.
Linda Huntley, 86 Van Dam. My question just is, isn't that already something that we do? I mean, why do we have another?
We do, but there's nothing on the books that says you have to. So it's just to make sure it's always done. And you're right, we always do it.
It's elevating it from policy to ordinance, right?
Right, from policy to ordinance. This way, you can never have an issue where, someone doesn't do the right thing.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Seeing no one, motion to close?
So moved.
Second?
Yeah, we did, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Who moves to adopt?
So moved.
Oh, second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Hudson,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Tomato,
Yes.
Delaware.
Yes. Okay, now I need a motion for late public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we do have late executive session, 2 matters personnel, 1 matter negotiation, and 1 matter of potential litigation. Any consideration of such business, public will be allowed to speak. February 16, 7 p.m. regular meeting, March 1st work session. We will now go into executive session at 7:31. Motion, please. I don't believe so. I'll tell you something when I adjourn. Motion to go in exec?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Take a 5-minute recess.
John, what do you want me to do with this?
I'm sorry.
I know, but
What?
shred it when I'm eventually done with this?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll give it to Jane, keep on file.
And Jane said no, she doesn't want it.
And-
No, I mean, she just doesn't.
It's public.
Fantastic.
Okay, we're back on public at 8:10 p.m. I would like a motion to authorize a stipend, $12,000 to Sherry Gallagher, our treasurer. Who makes that motion?
It's 2.4.
2.4, thank you.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Costa,
Yes.
Tomato,
No.
Delariva. Yes. Hudson,
Yes.
Next item, I'd like a motion, resolution 2.5, the hiring of Mr. Robert Buono as a field maintenance consultant for an annual, and a CPWM license holder, annual fee of $24,000 to do our field maintenance and hold our public works license. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Any further discussion?
Fred, I'm just sitting here thinking about this.
You're on public. Okay.
He won't become part of the bargaining unit?
Not as an employee, not as a part-time and based on his job description, right? And
So usually we hire part-time people down there, their kids or whatever, and they're only summer, we call it summer help.
Right. So that title makes them not eligible, just like field consultant makes them
Right, do
not.
we need to establish a
Just want to make sure.
salary range and a position in the ordinance, in the code book? I mean, we can do this, subject to having that position and identifying it so that we
We
address
probably
it.
have to amend the salary ordinance.
Yeah, so it'd be subject to that
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
So we would establish the position in the salary ordinance
It's Peel
and
Consulting.
make it clear as to, where it is and that it's
Right.
separate and
I
apart.
just want to make sure, because we're still not
Yeah,
where we
right.
want to be.
No, right.
Yeah.
I mean, if that would be the breaker, I wouldn't.
So this would be, right now, you don't have,
No, he said there
you have the
wasn't.
ability to go ahead,
How does this matter?
you have the authorization to go ahead, but in order to fund it, you're going to need a salary ordinance
Right.
adjustment and a
Right,
position.
we can introduce next meeting and adopt in March.
But why do it unless you're on board? So you need this vote
Just
first.
want to make sure
Yes.
that we cover our bases.
Yeah, good question. Yep.
So Jane, salary ordinance, next meeting.
Introduce
He was a holdover. I'll call Whitehead, I'll call it, yeah.
We can introduce
Could, if we had the position down, we want to introduce the salary ordinance by title.
It was non-agenda,
The
not
amendment.
exec.
Yeah, but we could do it next meeting. We'll
Next
have-
meeting, yeah, because we didn't give the public a chance to
Yeah.
hear about that one.
Yep.
I'm sorry? Okay. Where were we? We're in discussion phase?
Do we need to amend our motions for the?
Well, the amended motion was just contingent, no, we're approving
Oh,
the
yeah,
hiring
you
of.
could do it, but there's no authority to
Fund it.
compensate or
You're just
fund it
approving the
until you do this.
hiring.
Yeah.
The adoption of the salary ordinance will
Yep.
make it.
I just want to make sure we didn't.
So, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Tomato,
Yes.
Dela Ripa,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Costa.
We're good? Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.